Friday morning.
So you're not there next week, right? You there?
Not okay.
So it's just you two.
You and us three. Hey, Couch.
He'll be right. He'll probably be there a couple days. He asked me on stage, so Jason gonna be free Friday. He said we'll be 7.
10:30.
Columbia
match
just
will go on to face our
technically be
tournament
on
leader
staff?
from Omaha, Nebraska, seeking her first win, Erin
I think like
Columbia.
McCarthy.
Columbia. If you just like born there, you're like you get a pass.
I found out.
Yeah, the boom.
All right, so ladies, we're
I
going to
keep
continue to
telling
warm up
Clara
here for
this
about
week
another
that her
15
jersey
minutes
should say
altogether. So
Columbia.
Put the O
while
in
we
there.
have them here, it's
I know,
your
put the O in
chance
there.
to now practice. The audience gets to practice. So Esther's going to step up here on the approach after she releases the ball.
Not only is she back on tour, she's a champion again. Yeah! The legend. Here's Shannon O'Keefe. Yeah! Incredible. What a moment for Shannon O'Keefe.
Since 2002, the PWBA Tour had not been to the city of Louisville. That all changed right here in 2018 as the PWBA Louisville Open rolls on, and it's about to come to its conclusion. Hello, everyone. My name is Emil Williams Jr., along with, I almost called you Josie Ernest, Josie Barnes. Stepladder finals on the way. We've got 4 great participants, one familiar face, and that is Danielle Mckean. Although she is not the #1 seed today, that honor belongs to Erin Mccarthy. Our opening match, however, will pit Esther Cheah from Malaysia, making her first Stepladder finals appearance. She will take on the #3 seed. Who's our #3 seed? Maria Jose Rodriguez, who also making her first Stepladder finals here in 2018. So, Josie, you know all 4 of these players pretty well.
Yeah.
You had a chance to bowl with all of them, and you've seen the lane pattern. What should we expect, and what should the viewers expect here this afternoon?
Well, I'm sure hoping a lot of high scores. You know, I don't know the exact statistics, but this had to be one of the higher scoring tournaments that we've had in a long time. Just a lot of strikes thrown. Each player is a little different, but they all found a pretty good path to the pocket.
I would say so, and Erin McCarthy had the greatest path, if you will. She struck a lot and got to plus 1,000 for 30 games. But it's about Esther Cheah and Maria Jose Rodriguez. We've seen Esther, of course, the last couple years with Team Malaysia. We know about C.T. Rahman, we know about Cindy Jane, but today the world will be introduced to Esther Cheah. What, in your opinion, and what have you seen from her that makes her game so unique and why she's here in the Stepladders?
From the little bit I saw this week, I actually wasn't too close to her, but here in the last little bit is that she really likes to stay firm and keep the ball in front of her, which is unique, I think, to be making the stepladder because, Erin is so forward and a little slower and left to right. Maria the same way. So she's kind of doing her own thing. So her and Danielle, I think, will be a little closer than the other two. But, she's new to the PWBA, but she's not new to World Bowling. So I think we can expect a good score from her.
And Maria, of course, the #3 seed, an experienced player, obviously a major winner as well, won the 2014 Queens. She's had a couple of Stepladder Finals appearances in her career in Wichita in 2016, last year in Sonoma County. She can, of course, win, and, it kind of feels like she's due as well. Very consistent player.
Yeah, she's a fantastic player, competes for Team Columbia, has for many, many years. She's got all the right tools. It's just, it hasn't come into place or fallen into place the last couple of years, and I think she has as good a shot at any.
Well, we'll find out here. The #2 seed waiting in the wings is Danielle Mckean. We'll get to her momentarily, but you get to see a look at Esther Cheah. And again, Esther from Team Malaysia, representing Team Malaysia. We are set. Looks like Esther will start the match. Maria, the higher seed, had a chance to choose, of course, who will start, and she elected Esther to start. And she will start on the left lane. Nice opening shot.
Fantastic shot.
Already in front of her. That looks pretty firm to me.
Yep.
Maria Jose Rodriguez. From Colombia originally, now living in Austin, Texas. So far this season, 9th in Las Vegas, 8th in Fountain Valley, her highest finish. First Stepladder Finals appearance here in 2018.
Good shot.
What makes Maria so good? You take a look at a shot like that.
Oh, shoot. There are a lot of things. One of the things I've always admired about Maria isn't even so much physical, it's just her competitive fire. I think out here on the PWBA, we have a lot of different personalities, and hers really comes through. She's one of the more animated players, I think, on the lanes, and so she has a lot of really awesome physical tools, but I really like her competitiveness.
She's also very honest,
Yes.
which I like as well. Rodriguez, good shot, early double. The ball looked just left of 15, maybe 16 at the arrows. It's a place that she's I think she's been playing there for most of the event. I watched a lot of the obviously round of 12 earlier, and she's been able to go left to right, which that seemed to be very popular this week, and no one really could get out of their comfort zone. Everyone comfortable. And I think Esther comfortable there as well in her own comfort zone and being able to play the lanes the way she'd like to also.
Yeah, I think Esther is unique. She's a little further right through the arrows than Maria. I think most of the people that scored out of the gate were crossing closer to 15 or 16, but Esther's a little firmer than some of the other players that were a little further right, so she found a way to make it work.
Esther Cheah, part of, I believe, 6-player contingent from Malaysia. This is their first event of 2018. And I think at this point, most fans are pretty familiar with Malaysia. Cindy Jane, for example, made a couple of shows in 2016, kind of right out of the gates. In fact, she made the Queen's Show right out of the gate in their first event on tour.
Yeah, it seems like every event they compete in, they have someone make the show. And then, of course, they bowled fantastic at the World Championships this year in Vegas, so a lot of people here in the States know who they are.
Third frame, Cheah. Good shot. As you mentioned, further right. Maybe a 12-ish right in between second and third arrow. Side view.
She liked it.
I don't think there's any question about that. All right, Rodriguez again trying to follow up here this early double. Push a little. Good shot.
Sometimes it's hard for me to know when Maria likes the shot.
I'd say the same
'Cause
about
that one
Shannon
looked,
Puhalski.
yes, exactly the same thing.
It looks like where she's playing, and obviously, of course, she knows better than me. It doesn't look like that much room for error.
Right.
Would you agree so far, just kind of early in the assessment?
Yeah, early on it didn't feel like there was a ton of room for error, and then as the pattern blended out a little bit, there was more and more room to get to the pocket. It is unique. It looks like she switched balls, so she's throwing 2 different balls, which will be something we'll want to keep an eye on. Are the 2 lanes playing that differently for the other players?
Left lane, different ball. Still about the same place at the arrows. And able to kick the 10 out. I mentioned Maria, just kind of got that feeling that she is due. She's put in a lot of work, a lot of time. Same thing goes for Esther Cheah, who's been doing it for a while. In fact, I believe the youngest Malaysian to win a singles medal at the World Championships back when she was 19. And that one a touch light and a 210. What are we seeing here?
I just think that the firmer you are at the beginning, the harder it is to get the ball to go through the pins correctly. Maria's a little softer and just a little more left to right, so it's seeing the pattern a little better.
She'll go try to attack this spare, and no count there. So open frame in the 4th. You can hear the fans kind of rallying and trying to root on Esther Cheah, saying, "Hey, don't worry about it. That's put it in the pocket, throw it away, and move on. How important is it to, of course, being that when you're in the situation to not strike, but just throw a good shot in the next frame?
I think it's everything. You know, you've had such a good week. You just want that confidence going into the next frame that, you know, you can execute the way you want to.
Nice break.
Right.
Didn't look like she liked it. Maybe a touch left in.
Yeah.
Fist pump says it all, though. And now Rodriguez perfect through 4.
And back to the other ball.
He spent a lot of time, of course, a lot of experience internationally with Team Colombia, as Josie mentioned. In fact, she just came back from the South American Games a couple weeks ago. 5 in a row.
Fantastic shot.
So far, we talked about the different balls on each lane, but the area from the target perspective doesn't look that much different.
It doesn't look that different. I will say, from bowling on most of these pairs throughout the weekend, they were very lane to lane for me. You know, you'd have one lane that was super tight down lane, and you'd 210 a couple of times. So maybe that's something that Esther's seeing as well on that right lane. So we did treat them as a lane, not pair to pair. Did not like that one.
Yep, knew it off her hand, certainly. 4, 6, 7. That would look to be at least 2 left. All right, she'll take the count. Each player with an open. But still plenty of opportunity here for Esther Cheah, although down early.
You almost feel like you're in a must strike. You're only in the 6th frame.
Yeah, the way Maria's thrown, I mean, if she threw a bad shot, you'd expect her to get back on it here in the 7th frame. Cheah, yikes.
Yeah.
Same lane, same result. 210. What's the right lane doing here for Esther?
I don't know. That one looked a little more direct up the lane than the last one. You know, it really just looks like it's tighter, paying attention to the girls warming up before we came on broadcast. Erin 210'd a couple of times on that right lane, so it's something we'll have to keep an eye on, but it definitely looks like they're playing different.
She went for it. Had to. Take a look at the crowd here. Very close. You'll see she'll nick the 2. Well, it's still too far out in front of the 10. And so 2 opens in 3 frames for Esther. Now, huge hole. Very important shot here in the 7th. That's right. And that looked very similar to what we just saw. Of course, no split.
Crossing 13-ish. I almost think she'd have to get a little left.
And your experience, of course, bowling this week. I mean, did you run into anything like this, and then how did you combat it?
I did, and honestly, I don't think I combated it correctly. That's why I'm sitting here.
Fair enough.
You know, because I am a lower rev player, I instantly thought my move was right, and that wasn't the right call. Every time I'd end up actually having to move left and just being a little softer and opening the lane up, but it wasn't my first instinct, my first move, and it wasn't correct.
All right, Maria, who just watched her opponent split in the 6th and really not have anything going. She can get back on it confidently just like that.
Feels good.
Best Esther can do is shoot 204. Maria pacing right now at 2:05. Good shot. Good camera work there from Jason Thomas, as if he knows that we're talking about multiple balls. He's a bowler, and he probably noticed it himself.
Yeah.
And keyed in on it. Eighth frame, Rodriguez. 6 out of 7. Open in the 6th.
It's the second time she's come out of that shot a little bit. Didn't have a whole lot of issues with the approaches being inconsistent this week, but we do have a couple more lights on the lanes, so maybe they're causing a little bit of footing issues.
When she let it go.
Laser focus.
Right, Esther to have any shot here certainly needs them all. And back to the troublesome lane. That looked like a better shot. Not that the other ones looked that bad to begin
Right.
with. Yeah, it's difficult to say. You throw it good, and you get that result. All right, she'll take care of business on the spare.
I think the hard part is they are bowling on a 43-foot pattern, so it is on the longer side, and you know, really still pretty fresh. The idea of moving left and closer to the pocket, you're still moving into the oil, and as firm as she is, it's probably a little nerve-wracking to think, will my ball actually pick up? So, you know, if it were me, I would probably move left, but like I said, I'm sitting in the seat, so I don't know that that's the right call.
That looks pretty good. And a 6-pin, and now she just kind of has that lost look. I mean, I think she tried to make a subtle move there.
Yeah. Looks like it was a little more direct at the pocket.
The best she can do with this spare is 182. At this point, just pins for Maria here in the 9th frame, and she will be moving on. Waiting in the wings is Danielle Mckean from Stony Point, New York, already a champion in 2018. So we'll watch how Maria will approach these last 2 frames, and I imagine if she gets some opportunity late in the 10th, maybe try some other equipment. But right now, we don't need to tell you that she's lined up. And she's been solid, so definitely on the right lane in regards to the footing situation.
Yes. Maria is a fantastic player, but I'll say this is the most focused I've seen her in a long time.
Well, she's been on television a couple times, as we mentioned. You know, won the Queens in 2014. Made the show in Wichita in 2016. Made the show in Sonoma County last year. That's a great shot. I mean, I think.
Looks like she's looking at Nathan.
What do you think they're saying?
Probably talking about balls, but I mean, she's already throwing 2 different ones, so she has an idea of what they look like.
When you are in this situation, the match is wrapped up. What are you looking for or want to do at this point to gather information?
Yeah, I think you're just looking ahead. So throwing a ball, even if it doesn't look as good as the one you're throwing, just having an idea of, if this starts to go to way, what is my next option? Because you don't have frames to make a decision. It is now or never kind of decision. So just trying to think 2 and 3 steps ahead.
Final shot. She will throw the ball that she had not been throwing on the left lane. So she'll take the right lane ball and throw it on the left lane to see what happens. If you're scoring at home. That will look
Just
pretty
fine
good.
to me.
265 out the gates.
Doesn't get much
Maria
better
Jose.
than that.
How about that? Nice game. A little exhale. All right, Esther Cheah will finish things out. Another great showing for Malaysia as a whole, despite what you see here and the stepladder, folks. She was fantastic throughout, especially today. Essentially making her way into the top 4. Shot 1383 for 6. Nice spare.
Great spare.
Malaysia will have 3 to finish in the top 12 this week. 4th, 7th, and 12th. Final shot.
Good 210.
Let's get figure out that that right lane troublesome late. 265 to 168. The final score. As we get a good look at Danielle Mckean and Erin McCarthy, they both get an opportunity to get a few shots, of course, on the TV pair. In this situation, of course, and
Yeah.
you've been in every one of these situations, which is great. So if you're Danielle at the
Yeah.
moment, what are you thinking about? What are you looking for? Is there something that you've talked about already? Of course, prior to in your previous warm-up session
Right.
with the TV pair.
Well, I think it depends on how you handled the previous warm-up session. Were you trying to break the lanes down? Were you trying to get lined up? Most of the time, these girls are so good that they've been trying to break it down so that when they show up later that it looks how they kind of want it to look. So at that point, it's throwing some shots, figuring out, all right, am I still in the same place? What move do I need to make, and do I feel comfortable? Because she gets lanes choice at this point. So are the 2 lanes the same? If they are, for me, I want to start the match because I want to have ball in hand when it comes down to it. If they're not, then I'm picking the best lane to finish on.
Good thought process right there.
Not everybody thinks like that.
I'll
Some
put
people
that in
would.
the mental note box.
Some people would rather be second so that they can get it out of the way and let somebody else handle fate. But
No, I think that's certainly appropriate. Again, coming up next, Danielle Mckean, the number 2 seed, will take on Maria Jose Rodriguez. Danielle finished second to you last week in East Hartford. Both of course, the upcoming opponents, whoever they may be, both Danielle and Erin McCarthy, very well. In your opinion, and you talked about it before, but why is Danielle so special?
that girl works her tail off. I think obviously we all put in a lot of time, but this girl spends so much time at the center, and every time I open Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook, she's working on something else, and so just her flat out dedication to what she's doing is awesome. It's unparalleled to me. She's gonna be one of the greats we remember, many years from now. And so being a college coach, you really appreciate the people that your kids can look up to, and I think Danielle is a perfect example.
Do you still put yourself first when you talk about when you're talking to your own athletes?
Yeah, well, of course.
All right, almost nearing the end of the practice shots. That gives us an opportunity, folks, to remind you that the Go Bowling PWBA Challenge will be Sunday, June 24th at 4 p.m. Eastern. It will be live on Extra Frame. The top 4 players in points with the first 6 standard events counting only will meet 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. The winners will meet, of course, in the finals. The winner will receive $5,000, $3,000 to the runner-up, and $1,000 each to the remaining 2 participants. And right now, you are among the top 4 in the Go Bowling 10K Challenge. goes Danielle Mcewan, Shannon O'Keefe, Josie Barnes, and Liz Johnson at the moment. So big thanks to Go Bowling and all of our sponsors, including BowlerX.com, Nationwide, Pepsi, and Cubica AMF. Did I hear that Danielle's starting the match?
I think so. I saw her tap her chest and said I'll start, so. Now I think you've been sitting back here more than I have, but I think that it looks like Danielle's starting with a different ball than she's used most of the week.
I would say so.
I believe.
You kind of, when you watch all of you players,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
weekly, you kind of get an idea of what balls you like or at least tend to throw often.
Yeah.
And that does look different.
Yeah.
All right, McEwen electing to start as the higher seed over top of the number 3 seed, Maria Jose Rodriguez. Good shot.
Good shot.
I feel that one thing we don't see Danielle do a lot of is go left to right. Now, it's not extreme, but she is giving the 1-3 away a little bit.
A little bit more than usual.
Let's see how Maria likes to come out here. Game number 2, match 2, the semifinals.
It's a little too right.
One, 2, 4 for Maria. Open frame. First time we've seen trouble early for Rodriguez, but it's early.
It is. If you're going to have an open, I always want it in the first frame.
All right, second frame. It's a much better shot.
And her feet stay under her, and that trail leg stays a little more controlled. Her shots are awesome. It's when it almost looks like they get a little quick and she's ahead of herself that it's a little uncontrolled. There's that right lane again.
Right lane is starting to, won't say it's starting to look weird. It does look kind of weird. All right, open frame for Danielle. So McEwen, a four-time winner on the
One in each
PWBA
season,
Tour.
right?
One in each season, joining Shannon O'Keefe. Those are the only 2 players to do that at the moment. Liz Johnson can join them. She can win one this year.
That one looked a little left.
Interesting events here. McEwen, who obviously doesn't miss much.
Yeah, that one just looked left. Trying to watch to see if it looked like it was starting a little earlier, but I just think it was missed.
All right, back-to-back opens. Well, we're just giving Jeff headaches. Big thanks to Jeff Goodger, by the way. Jeff Goodger, Jason Thomas, the crew this week. Two pin there for Rodriguez. And Maria dealing with a little adversity here. The good news is she watched Danielle, of course, have some trouble in frames 2 and 3. So a spare, sometimes do spares sometimes kind of calm the nerves in a sense. Not that she's nervous, but after an open frame, a shot that you didn't throw it that well, for example, can sometimes just seeing the slash, not even a strike.
Yeah, just closing the frame. You know, taking care of what's in front of you. Okay, the first shot didn't go how I wanted to, but I have a chance to kind of close it out and figure out what's going on.
Nice shot.
I really am interested to see what they're going to do on this right lane because I think I could learn something. Because I never figured it out this week.
All right, McEwen back on the right lane. Jeff with some wizardry with the scoreboards. Nice.
Better shot.
And a weak 10.
Kind of a funky angle, but it looked like she was crossing around 17.
Sorry. Spare made for McEwen. Danielle has finished 8th in Las Vegas, 7th in Sonoma, and a win in Fountain Valley as the top seed. Finished 34th in the Queens, then took a trip to Korea.
Yeah.
During the Queens, right after she was eliminated. Came back and, of course, made the show last week and finished 2nd.
Now, was she the top seed in Fountain Valley, or was that Bree?
You're right.
Yeah, because we haven't had a top seed win yet.
That is correct.
I believe.
Oh, you're right. Way to keep me honest.
Which is
Appreciate that.
pretty impressive because I have a terrible memory, but...
Yes, Brianna Cote, top seed in both Fountain Valley and the Queens, back-to-back. Strike there. Didn't go through the pins the way that you're certainly used to seeing, but...
I think at this point she'll take it.
Rodriguez, the early open. Strikes in the 2nd and the 4th. Looking to double up.
Good shot. I wish I would have paid a little more attention to where the pin placement was on that ball because it looks like she has 2 of those that she's been throwing on the right lane on the rack. That one definitely got back a little better. I'm sure it's not how she wants it to go through the pins, but I'd imagine if things keep going this way that Erin will not choose to finish on the right lane.
It's a good point. Because it doesn't look to be getting any better.
No.
pin's the difference.
Alright.
Good carry for Rodriguez. Where's the shot? It's a pretty good looking shot there. Now McEwen. Ball just kind of huffing to get up the hill
Yeah.
a little bit. It's working and trying. It's odd. She started on the left lane, and that shot was just pure. Looked to be, the reaction she certainly was looking for. And it could just very well be this right lane.
Oh, no. That is
Rare miss.
uncharacteristic of Danielle.
So this match is a little bit closer, or still closer, I should say, than one would think, even with the struggles here for Danielle. There's no guarantee what the right lane will present. And now at this point, she looks to be a little unsettled.
I think she's frustrated because one thing about Danielle, we've talked about it in the past. We joke that she's the robot on Team USA, and to me, she got up there a lot quicker to throw that first shot than normal for her, and I think she's just really frustrated. Good spill.
Danielle is amongst one of the players, and you said it, could be on that way to being an all-time great player. And one of the reasons I think why that is because, not that she's emotionless, but she doesn't really show much.
Yeah.
And it really takes a lot for her to show the frustration. Now Rodriguez. Good shot.
Good shot.
Big double. First double for either competitor here. Now Maria really in control. Mentioned that, sometimes you feel like a player is about due. When you work hard, you put in the work. The consistency that she has shown as a player on tour, and this could be the day.
Great shot.
That's the best shot of the match
Little
there.
fist pump there. Yeah, it's been a few years since she's won a title, the Queens, but she has made at least one, maybe a couple of the tour championships, which speaks to her consistency because it's extremely hard to make that field without winning a title.
Four, 6, 7 for Danielle. Three splits here. And a missed single pin for Danielle.
Gonna switch balls here to the ball that I thought she'd been throwing most of the weekend.
That does look like at least some variation
Some version, yes.
of the ball that has been very familiar. I think she threw it last week as well.
She did, yeah.
All right, 6-10 for Danielle, and Maria is is on her way. Top seed Erin McCarthy waiting. Best Danielle can do is shoot 160. Maria in between that little break there while Danielle was bowling, and a quick talk with her ball rep Nathan Bohr.
I didn't hear it, but I'm assuming they were probably talking about this right lane. What to do, what to try.
I mean, it's
interesting because the scoring pace of this weekend was extremely high, and outside of Maria's
Yes.
first game, they obviously have not been. But then you look at weeks like Sonoma where the scoring pace was very low. And then you get to the title match and you have Verity and Shannon who both throw out 260. So you really never know what you're going to get.
No, that's an interesting point. Great point. They bowled the two highest games of the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I think Shannon was something like, I don't know, 100 over or something to make the show. It was very low, and she doubled her her plus count in the title match. So we can talk like we think we know what we're talking about, but
Five in a row now for Rodriguez.
that was wide. But hey, it tried to get back.
That could be a good sign.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Maria Jose Rodriguez, the number 3 seed, taking on the number 1 seed Erin McCarthy of Omaha, Nebraska. .228. Yeah, 228. BMAC with somewhat of a smile. It's interesting to watch her. I said earlier that she has become the player where you just have to always know where Danielle is, like where
Yeah.
she's in the standings, and no more kind of that under the radar kind of thing.
No.
Like she's just coming out and being Danielle.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at the standings, you expect to see her in the top 5, top 10 all the time. Even when you look down, you're like, I don't think Danielle's throwing it as well as she was yesterday. And you look up and you're like, oh, well, she still shot 240. Cool.
All right, we're now going to bring over our top seed, Erin McCarthy. So a little practice on our championship pair. Maria can stay warm.
All right.
We'll pay attention to Maria, too. She's been rubbing that arm a lot the last couple of frames and shaking it out. So, I don't know, her facial expressions don't act like she's in pain, but there's obviously something going on there.
All right, well, fans, Erin will get to have 3 shots on each lane, and then we will get started in our championship match.
That was the first one with the new one. From Forza to a different Forza. Between 2 Forzas.
Well, my esteemed colleague, this is Josie Barnes.
Yeah.
Dead on in regards to switching balls and going to one of the same balls, for example, but a different layout, of course, as well. And Nathan Bohr just talked about that a little bit. And what was your suspicion about that? What did you see? Of course, and I guess we have to think that the right lane had a lot to do with that.
Right. I mean, the right lane looked like it was beginning to get tighter. And then, to me, her ball reaction just looked a little different on the next shot. And then as she was coming back to switch balls for the left lane, I cheated a little bit and saw that there were 2 on the rack. So I just made an educated guess that it was a different same ball. if
Well, that's
that makes
okay.
sense.
I mean, but you got to be able to
But
do
you have
that.
to learn to pay attention to those
Exactly.
things, especially out here. You know, when you're bowling week to week with these girls, really paying attention to where they're sliding, what balls do they like to throw. You know, what are they throwing right now? Because anything that can help you be a frame or two ahead of where you're normally at is really important.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Even though you're different companies, for example, if you have an idea of what someone is throwing, and do you try to say, what potentially do I have that will give me something similar?
Yes, and it's something that I'm trying to be better at. I talk to our ball reps a lot because I feel like that's actually one of my weaknesses
Okay.
is knowing. Because we have so many balls on ours, learning this fits here, that fits there. That girl's throwing this company's other ball.
Right.
What do I have that looks like that? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it's something I've actually been working really hard at this season, trying to get a better handle on that, so I don't have to use them as much. Because we have a lot of girls out here
Right.
and very few ball reps. So trying to have them behind you at all times just doesn't work, and it doesn't make sense.
Championship match, folks, is on the way. Erin McCarthy, the number 1 seed, will take on Maria Jose Rodriguez. So, Josie, I feel that you would know Erin's game, one of the best to know it.
Yeah.
So break down Erin in a sense and what makes her who she is.
Yeah, so we joke a lot, actually, that she wishes she could give me a little of her and I could give give her a little of me, I guess. She's very forward, likes to tumble it, and her ball speed's a little slower, so she's able to create some shape inside the oil a lot of times that other people can't. And so she hasn't been able to bowl a lot of the events so far this season, but the ones she's had have really, I guess, spotlighted the strength of her game. And so I think you'll probably see her be a little further left than Maria, just because her ball speed's a little slower. But she's just able to get that left to right just right, that when she gets a little up the lane, it's still able to hold but go through the pins the right way.
I feel that we have 2 players with similar games in a sense.
They'll be closer than the previous matches, I think, in terms of where they're playing on the lane.
All right, here we go, folks. The Louisville Open.
And like I expected, Maria's starting, so she'll be finishing on the right lane.
All right, Maria waits. First shot, championship match.
Good shot.
High flush on the left lane. This is the first match Maria has started. And now Erin McCarthy. Last time we saw Erin in the stepladder situation was the U.S. Women's Open last year when she went through some terrible back spasms.
Yeah.
Went through a few injuries last year and now feeling good, looking good. First shot is a strike.
Okay, if she can get that first shot to look how she wants it on that right lane, I think she'll be okay.
Of course, Erin McCarthy, I think really became a household name, if you will, at the end of her collegiate career at Midland.
Yeah.
Where she threw it was almost as she struck every single time. At ITC's, winning the all-tournament most valuable player. She, too, throwing 2 different balls, it looks like.
Yeah. That's a good sign for her. That one was a little more up the lane, like I talked about, a little more in the oil, and it held in that pocket nicely.
If you're just joining us, you are watching the championship match of the PWBA Louisville Open. First time the tour has been in Louisville since 2002. We will crown a champion in just a little bit. Emil Williams Jr. with Josie Barnes, Jeff Goodger, Jason Thomas here as well. Rodriguez, frame 2. Good shot.
Good shot. She likes that one.
Nathan Bohr told us she switched to What that ball is, of course, called a 4, as you can see on the ball. She would switch to a different one in the 5th frame of the prior match. And that's been one of the keys, of course, but she's been throwing 2 different balls on each lane since she began.
Yes.
And that was way back against Esther Cheah in the opening match. Rodriguez first to 3. Yes, sir.
I'm not sure she liked that one. She kind of fell out of it a little bit, but then, her laser focus made me think maybe she did, because it looked fantastic.
Those you see in the front row of the crowd, folks, some of the VIPs. I want to thank Jack McCarthy, member of the board of directors of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, and all of his great work, and the general managers Joe Markowitz and Cindy Lumpkins. And Erin McCarthy matches. Well, we could have one of those matches.
This is more of what I was expecting at the beginning of the broadcast.
No, you made a great point. I mean, the scores were, it was a high-scoring environment this week. And, the first couple, maybe it's nerves. We know the right lane, I think, visually, certainly has been an issue for some. Good shot.
Yeah, today I bowled the cashers round, and at the end of the day I was adding up my score. And I ended up going 124 over, and I felt like I was 30 under. I just felt like I could not keep up.
Sometimes there are those weeks, and you could tell in practice. I watched the practice session, and there were a lot of X's.
A lot
I
of
said,
strikes.
okay, well, this would be, the higher scoring week. And I think there's been a good mix of patterns that have presented varying scoring paces so far this year. 4th frame. Oh, that's pure.
Oh.
Oh, that was a great shot.
She might have just caught that one a little more than she has been.
Could he get the 9 out?
A little move.
What type of move would you make in that situation?
For me, it's probably a little different for her. Her rev rate's a little higher, but when I start seeing that, I'll go 2 and 1 at most. Someone with a little higher rev rate, maybe a little more. And this week, I actually started making more parallel moves towards the later in the block. But
this won't be the last time you'll hear Josie, by the way. She's going to go down and talk to the winner.
Yeah.
After this, do a little introduction, present the trophy. We got to crown a champion first.
Oh my. I was not expecting that.
I've seen a couple of those this week.
Yeah, and they kind of just show up. I was bowling with Kelly Kulick today, and we hit a pair that the ball was going through the pins fine, and then all of a sudden, you don't expect Kelly to 8-10. So hopefully she doesn't get spooked by this. I know sometimes, when you leave a pocket split like that, it's like, oh no, what next? What's the move? But just stay within herself and make a quality shot.
Al McCarthy still perfect. She shot 299 in the round of 12. Looking for 5 in a row.
Yep. I think she's feeling it too.
We talked about people being due.
Yeah.
And I would say
I'd say Erin's overdue.
Erin is overdue. These 2 players to me are overdue for the amount of work and as well as they have bowled, especially since the return of the PWBA, and even before that. Erin has been top seed at the Queens, losing to Liz Johnson in 2015, and not trying to lose today. 6 in a row for Erin McCarthy. The crowd is into it. We'll take a look at her 6-frame shot here. Just pure. So really for the first time And we can go back to the Maria McEwen match, where Maria obviously trailing here, but really on the back end of it.
Yes.
How will she respond? All right, gets a good break.
It's looking like she might have to move on that right now. You know, it was tighter at the beginning, but it looks like it's starting to pick up.
Yeah, there's certainly a little spot, at least for Maria down lane. I mean, how critical are ball choices in these situations?
You know, some of that depends week to week. I think this week it was more important than most, simply because the scoring pace was so high. So that one extra hit a game was so important. You know, in other weeks it's finding a motion to get to the pocket, you know, and make your spares. You know, so I think it's all dictated by scoring pace. If you talk to the ball reps, they'll tell you that the higher scoring weeks they drill more balls than any other week because everyone's looking for that one extra hit a game to get them to the cut. So, you know, I think especially on this show, it's critical.
McCarthy stepping up, looking for the front seven.
It's close.
Wow.
Yep.
There's not much to say about what Erin McCarthy is doing. This looked very similar to what she did earlier.
I think we can just sit here and enjoy the view.
Very similar to what she did in the round of 12. We're on 8.
Oh,
And a 10
that
pin.
almost looked like an 8-10
And it
on
was.
that one.
The 8 was late.
Yeah. Great run. Make your spare and take a deep breath.
Players mention breathing
Yeah.
all the time for the viewers listening. I mean, in these situations, how fast is the heart rate going sometimes?
So fast. I finally went back and watched the broadcast last week and had to chuckle at myself because where I thought I was taking deep breaths and, you know, really slowing my heart rate down, I watched and I'm like, I can visibly see myself like almost panicking, you know? Like, so that's on the list of things to work through, but you know, it's so important to take that extra second because these games go by so fast that, you know, when your heart rate starts going as well, everything just picks up, and that's where, you know, one bad shot can really cost you.
Rodriguez up in the 8th frame. Max score 256. So 8th and 9th so important. Got to push. Oh, nice break. That right lane has become the opposite for Maria, certainly.
This match is not over.
It went from being a detriment from a tight down lane perspective to now almost a hook spot down lane. A strike here. Hook.
Oh boy.
Open frame for Rodriguez. You see the head pin go right around the 10. Now max score 220.
Great shot.
Nice shot, man.
Mathematically over.
That is it. She knows it. Takes a deep breath. Watch replay of essentially is the clinching hit. And again,
Posted it.
she breaks the curse here, at least so far in 2018.
Good shot.
And the #1 seed finally gets a win here on the PWBA Tour.
So a little key to success here. Little secret. Erin drilled a new spare ball going into this week to make the show. Last week I drilled a new spare ball to make the show. And the week before that at the Queens, Stephanie Johnson drilled a new spare ball going into the week. So for everyone listening out there, if you have a tournament coming up and you want to make the stepladder, drill a new spare ball. Although Erin clearly did not have to use it much this week.
Especially not today.
Awesome.
Erin Mccarthy, 2018 PWBA Louisville Open champion. Maria to finish things out. Final
Great
score.
bowling to Maria this week.
Absolutely. 259, 210. Josie will have a check and a trophy to present.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please again give a nice big round of applause to Maria Rodriguez and her great music here. Absolutely phenomenal. Again, keep those hands going for our newest champion, Wocka. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're going to have a trophy presentation. Josie Barnes, our last week's champion. In addition, we're going to have a post-game interview, so stick around, don't go anywhere, and then Erin will be more than happy to sign every program. Your hand's not tired. All right. Just give us a few. We'll get set up. Yeah, we'll get set up in a minute.
You see Erin McCarthy, 2018 PWBA Louisville Open champion. There's the trophy. So what we'll have here, of course, is Jack McCarthy, Ryder BPAA Board of Director. Josie Barnes will hand her our trophy presentation. It should go a little easier for Josie, even though it's her first time, but she gets to present it to a friend.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. What an awesome final. What do you guys think? Great, right? All right, I'm here with the host. From Fern Valley Strike and Spare, BPA board member Jack McCarthy. Would you like to say a few words?
On behalf of the BPA, but mostly Strike and Spare, thank you for coming, PWBA, and congratulations, Erin.
All right, Erin. Is there anyone you would like to thank?
Yeah, definitely. BowlerX.com, Pepsi, Nationwide, Cubica AMF, and Jack McCarthy, BPAA board member with Fern Valley Strike and Spare. Also, Hammer Bowling, Turbo Grips, and Apparel EFX.
All right, so I can see you're shaking a little bit. All right, first title. What are you feeling right now?
I'm in shock. It's like cloud 9. The mic's off. No, it's not. I literally can't put it into words right now, what I'm feeling.
All right, so you had a fantastic week. You were at the top of the scoreboard most of the week. What was your plan of attack? How are you so consistent?
Honestly, patience. I mean, the scores were higher this week. Can't get down on yourself if you leave a couple of 9 pins throughout the week, even though it seemed like you're falling behind scoring pace. But I think just patience and staying in the moment.
All right, so we had some great fans out here in Louisville. What did you think of the bowling center and the city?
The city I didn't get to explore too much, but the fans are great. I mean, the pro-ams are great. They were here all week. It was a packed house, especially for the Friday evening squad. I couldn't ask for better fans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. We appreciate you guys coming out and supporting the PWBA. We'll be back here next year at Executive. Please come out and see us and support your sport.
Boy, it was almost as if she's done that before. Big thanks to Josie Barnes for taking care of our trophy presentation. Again, big thanks to Jack McCarthy, Joe Markowitz, and Cindy Lumpkins as well. As you can see, Jack, Erin will chat with the trophy. Next week, folks, we head to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That is where the 7th stop of the PWBA Tour. One more standard event prior to the U.S. Women's Open, and one more standard event that will count for the Go Bowling PWBA Challenge. So we look forward to seeing you then. For Jeff Goodger, Jason Thomas, Josie Barnes, Danielle Milliken, Kathy Wocka, Kathy Kavicki, and everyone involved here. Big thanks to the city of Louisville. The fans here were fantastic, and we do look forward to coming back next year in August. My name is Emil Williams Jr., folks. We leave you with images of the 2018 PWBA Louisville Open champion, Erin Mccarthy. Good night, folks.